What's up, you guys? It's your favorite couple, Rich and Fonz. And this time we're back here with another Mukbang Monday. You know what time it is.
Monday night mukbang, baby.
So we have some stir fry today. Some shrimp chicken stir fry.
Shrimp, chicken, and scallops.
Oh, yeah.
I like scallops and everything.
Yes. So
yeah,
we
so
got a little rice here also.
Yeah, you can't have a stir fry without rice. Y'all know that. Since we've started our YouTube channel, a lot of people have been asking. So tonight, we are going to do our coming out story. And we're going to talk about what it was like coming out of the closet. I don't even like that term, coming out, but whatever. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Oh, that I know that one, but there's another one.
What was you saying? Oh, that's the same song. That's just the beginning.
When you find someone who loves you, and you love them, you never let them go, yeah. Let them go, yeah. You find someone who loves you, and you love them, you never let them go, yeah. Let them go, yeah. Finds and whiskey, 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 finds and whiskey.
All right, so let's check out this food. Dun, 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 dun. Look at that steam. Oh, that smells good. All right, you want to pray over the food, baby?
Lord, bless this food that we're about to eat. Bless this mukbang. And
bless our subscribers. Bless our followers. Help this food to nourish our minds, our bodies, and our souls.
You might as well just say the prayer.
We say it together.
Yo.
Amen. We pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Let me get some of that rice, son. Good old brown rice. Yeah, so we're trying to do this as healthy as possible. Your boy wanted shrimp. And I was like, all right, let's do something where we do shrimp and vegetables and all that stuff because y'all will see soon. Me and Fonz right now are doing a Get Fit challenge. So we both took photos, we weighed ourselves, all of our stats, and we have different goals. Fonz's goals is to gain a little bit of weight, put on some muscle. My goal is to lose my gut and also build muscle. And we're challenging each other. We got to go to the gym every day, 5 days a week. So yeah, that video will be dropping in a couple months because we want y'all to be able to see the results and how we did. So yeah. All right. Yes. So coming out, that's a big topic. It's super heavy, super big for a lot of people. It's really not, it's not that easy. A lot of people, you know, who aren't in that situation may not understand, but you know, it's hard for a lot of people. People are experiencing different types of hate and discrimination and things like that because of their sexuality. Right. Also, just within the home, a lot of people are kicked out of their homes and kind of let go of.
Or even bullied.
Yeah, bullied in school.
Jumped, killed.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not aware, do your research. It's definitely a big problem that people aren't able to be who they are. No, that's good for now. I need some of that juice though.
Yeah, so it's really big, and it's not, you know, when we say gay, we're speaking on the whole
LGBTQIA.
Oh, IA?
Yeah, plus QIA.
Oh, plus
you got the
QIA.
plus, I got the QIA.
Okay.
We got this.
So we're talking on the whole community, on, you know, how it's like. So we're gonna speak from the perspective of how, you know, coming out as a gay black male, you know, what we experience and, you know, our come out story. So you want to start?
Well,
Mr. Richie Rich.
I don't even want to talk no more.
Right. Give us a moment.
I'll start. So, me, I grew up with my grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather raised me, and They were super supportive, super loving my entire life. So by the time I got to the age where I recognized and realized my sexuality, I didn't really fear that there was going to be like huge consequences like a lot of people experience, being kicked out and disowned and, things like that. Not from them anyway, but I also had my mother and my sisters and brothers and my cousins and uncles and things like that who I was a little bit apprehensive about. I didn't think they would understand. I didn't think, that they felt it was right or okay. So I was definitely worried about how certain people would feel about it. But I had my first experience with another male when I was about 16, 17 years old. And it was really a bad experience. I cried. Like, I left the person's house after experiencing my sexuality for the first time, and I cried all the way home, and I cursed God, and like, why did you do this to me? And it was like super emotional. I cried and threw up for like the whole way home, a good 30-minute walk, and I was just really hard and down on myself about it. And I put that behind me. I, continue to have relationships, sexual and non-sexual, with females, um, and didn't really continue down that road for a long time. And then I got into my first relationship when I was maybe 21, 22 with another male. And it was like really serious. This person was at my mother's house with me. At this time, I was living back with my mother, all the time. My mother knew him really well. And, it wasn't super obvious. So it was looked at as just a friendship. When I think back on it, I'm like, how could it have not been obvious? Like, we stayed in the same room like 5 days a week and like cooked for each other, and just like our way of communicating was like way too close for a friendship. And I think anybody around would have recognized that. I know some adults, some parents do have a hard time believing it, so they may see it and question it, but it's like, no, I don't want to believe it, kind of thing. I think that may have been what was happening. So at this point, in my brain, I kind of use that relationship with this person and them always being around me and people seeing the way we're interacting as what I thought was my way of coming out. Was like, it's just obvious. But apparently for some people, it really wasn't, because I ended up going to jail. Something else a lot of people may not know about me. I did go to jail at one point, and while I was in jail, I wrote a letter to my mother, and I was expressing to her that, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I came home, if I wanted to be with this guy who, most people probably assume was just my friend, or there was another female that I was really into and thought that we could have an amazing relationship and be happy together. And it was kind of like the solution to my problems in my brain. I'm like, this girl really likes me. I really like her. I know she's dope. She's amazing. I could just go into this relationship and stay in this relationship and not have to deal with all the extra stuff that comes with being in a same-sex relationship. So I was really confused and torn, because I knew in my heart that I was more attracted to men, and that I couldn't truly see myself being in a relationship with a female, but I knew it would be so much easier. So I'm expressing all this to my mom in a letter, and again, at this time, I think my mom knows all of these things. And apparently she didn't, because I then, a couple days later, called my father. And my father is Muslim. No, not Muslim. He's what we call a 5%er. It's like Muslim, but definitely does not think that being gay is okay. Like, absolutely a no-no with my father. So I called my father just to check in, see how he was doing. And, he's like, what is this I hear about this letter that you sent talking about you wanting to be with a man and all this other stuff? And, and you couldn't decide between these guy and this girl and whatnot. And I'm like completely floored. I'm like on the phone, like in shock, don't know what to say, because I'm like, this is my father. I'm like, I'm not ready to say it to him. And I was super worried and concerned. And just like, it just caught me out of nowhere. So I was like, what are you talking about? Like, no, they misread the letter. I could just completely denied it with everything I had, and must have sounded really convincing because he was like, okay, cool, or whatever. And that was that. And then I came home. And while I was in jail, actually, I spoke to someone, and it was about a completely unrelated topic. You know, no one in jail knew that I was gay or attracted to males in any way. Um, but they said, you know, those that mind don't matter, those that matter don't mind. And that really sunk in for me and really made like a really big difference in the way that I looked at my situation. And I was like, you know what? I know my family loves me very much. And I think they love me enough that this thing isn't going to change that. They love me enough to where this is not going to matter. It's not going to change how they feel about me. It's not going to change how they treat me. And for those family members who do decide to treat me differently or stop loving me or stop interacting with me in any way, you know, clearly they're not important enough to be in my life, and like they don't matter. Like if this is something that's going to keep you from being a genuinely loving and caring person to me, then I don't need you in my life. And I just held on to that with everything I had. And when I came home, I really stepped out into who I was. I've never been really flamboyant, so it was a little bit easier for people to take. And it really pisses me off when, you know, I'm around people and they're like, oh, you're not like the rest of the gay people and you're not flamboyant and I like you. And I'm like, you know, that's not a compliment. Like, gay people is my community. Just because my mannerisms are not feminine, you know, you like me. So you're basically saying if you were flamboyant or feminine, then I wouldn't be able to be around you and I wouldn't be able to rock with you the way that I do. And I think that's BS. And anytime somebody says that to me, I let them know off rip that's not a compliment. And if you wouldn't like me if I flip my hair or, you know, walked with a little bit of different type of mannerism, then I don't want you to like me now. Like, I don't care. Like, all of those people, those are my community, like transgender, whatever, like those are my people. So when you stand here in my face and say something disrespectful that disrespect them, I can't fuck with you. I can't rock with that.
And even there are people who are not necessarily flamboyant, but that are feminine, and that doesn't mean that you are a gay. So a lot of people, they're like, you know, tell me if he's gay because he does, you know, certain little things that don't make you gay. Like, some people can embrace that. Like, you know, we're all human. A lot of people are even raised by single mothers or just, you know, mothers in general. So, you know, a lot of times you get, you know, those aspects of it. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gay because you're doing, you know, certain things, or because you flip your hair, or because you say certain things. So, I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely. So to finish my story off, that when I came out of jail and like, you know, got back to myself, I really was like, you know what? I'm into men. This is what it is. I had a talk with my mother. She made me feel comfortable, okay with it. My grandmother made me feel comfortable and okay with it. My grandfather had passed away before I had the opportunity to really sit down and have that conversation with him. But I do know in my heart that my grandfather wouldn't have done anything to make me feel uncomfortable. My grandfather was super loving and caring and, you know, taught me to be the man that I am. I got my work ethic and all that from him. Amazing, amazing man. But yeah, my father, you know, Fonzo, had the opportunity to meet my father for the first time as my partner when we recently came to visit New York, and I was super excited. You know, my father is like me. Anybody who knows me personally, I'm a super sarcastic asshole. I'm a jerk. But I'm super caring and loving, and you know, the people who are around me, they know that I care about them. They know that I love them. It's just my way, like my humor is really insensitive sometimes. And you know, you have to really know me and understand my personality to understand the way that I come off. And I recognize now that I get it from my father. You know, he can say something that will make you feel like complete shit, but also in there, you know that the reason why this is being said is because I care so much about you and I love you. And at the same time, he'll also tell you, I love you and I'm proud of you and all those other things. So my dad is an amazing man as well. So I say that to say we came to New York, and you know, in past relationships, my dad wasn't too happy. You know, it was still kind of fresh, and you know, I would bring my past partner over, and my dad's like, you know, hey, what's up, and that's it, kind of just short. And I understood it; it was uncomfortable for him, and when we came over and I introduced Fonzo, my dad was like, "Yeah, I recognize you from YouTube and come here, give me a hug." He was
Let's
like,
have a drink.
"Let's have a drink. I ain't gonna give you a kiss, but give me a hug," and then, you know, making funny little jokes like that. So, you know, that really felt good to me because I wasn't expecting my dad to be so you know, excited to meet Fonzo and just open, and since then they've started creating a great relationship. So super excited about that. Yeah, and all my friends and aunts and uncles and cousins, I do have some that are a little weird, and it's like, it's cool. I don't care. Keep your distance. I'll keep mine. I still love you, but you know, I don't need no negativity in my area. If you get over it, great. But if not, I can live. I have the support system around me that I need, and you know, I'm happy to say that my coming out story wasn't super dramatic or hard or hurtful for me, and I know that's not the story for everyone. So I'll let you tell your story, Fonzo.
So mine, I would say it's kind of similar. So for most of you guys that don't know, I was adopted by my aunt and my uncle. So from I think I was like 7 when my mom passed away. So growing up, we had it pretty good. You know, they spoiled us. We went to like, you know, one of the best schools. And you know, growing up, they were kind of hard on us because they wanted the best for us. So they always expressed love to us. Like anything we pretty much wanted, we pretty much got. But from the aspect of like, you know, me coming out, they will always tell us that, you know, they love us no matter what. But we will hear things like, as far as like, you know, gay, like they'll make jokes. And I think a lot of people make jokes when it comes to the gay community and things like that. So hearing those things, you know, as a kid, I was kind of confused because I'll see like, you know, the men and the woman together, but on TV, you would see once in a while, you see, you know, a guy and a guy. So you're like, I don't know, it kind of brought some confusion to me growing up. But, you know, as I got older, I think I was about, I would say like 12, 13 is when I was like, you know, I like guys, but I also like girls at the same time.
You was just nasty.
No, yo. So I was about 12, 13. No, yeah, probably 12, 13 is when I was like leaning more towards guys. I know I wanted to have a baby. I know I wanted to, you know, be with a woman because that's what, you know, my parents would always say, you know, I can't wait till we have grandchildren, my grandchildren this, my grandchildren that. But yeah, I was a little confused until when I got older, you know, continuing to hear like comments from my, you know, my family and stuff like that. But I think my aunt, she kind of knew something in my uncle because they would make like, you know, always sit me down. I guess it was the way I was acting because at this time I would wear contacts. I was always dyeing my hair. But at the same time, it was a lot of kids who were doing that my age, like doing things like that. But for them, you know, when I eventually came out, that's what, you know, said, kind of gave it off. So this one time they sent me in the room and they would always ask me like, you know, is everything okay? You know, we love you. You know, are you gay?
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and I'm like, no, like, you know, kind of brushing it off, like, no, what are you talking about? Like, no, I like girls. I'm not with that. And they're like, oh, well, you know, we're just asking, you know, we want to be, make sure that you're okay, want to make sure that you're loved. But yeah, so I kind of brushed it off, and I was like, why would they ask me that? Like what am I doing? Like, so, I actually we got into an argument because I was skipping school, and I moved out the house. Well, kind of ran away. I moved out the house. And I didn't speak to them for like a very, very long time. So when I left, I did get into a relationship with this girl named Linda, and we were together for a while. Then she broke up with me, or she was cheating on me. I found out she was cheating on me by someone close to me, and so I went on this rage of like, fuck life, fuck girls. And and that's when I had my experiment with, guys for the first time. So, oh, okay.
How was it? Did you enjoy it? Was it scary? Did you feel bad after?
I felt kind of guilty, bad, ashamed. Cause like I went down, I would always wonder what it would be like. But at first I was just like, when you're like, you try something, you're like, I don't know if I liked it. I don't know if so I was like, let me try it again. And I kept trying. And I'm like, okay, obviously, there are some things there and you have to like it. Like, are you, you're, there's something there. So eventually I was like, I'm gay. And I didn't really see girls or females the same any longer after that. And, I wanted to kind of be myself, but I would do these things like in secretive. And also I guess I also felt bad or ashamed, or I didn't really want to embrace it because of the growing up, my family was Christian. So we were always in church, and growing up, we would hear things in church like, oh, it's a sin to be gay, or it's a sin to, for, you to like the same sex, or to be in a same-sex relationship, all that blah, 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 blah crap. And, I would, hear these things, hearing the pastor, hearing my family say those things. So I was kind of conflicted because like it was like really drilled in my head that if you were gay or like the same sex, that you were going to hell. And like for me, like in my heart, I knew that like something's not right because like I love God, I love my family, I love my faith, and I'm very strong on that. And I'm like, I'm a kid, so that means that because I love, one thing or I like one thing that I'm going to go to hell for, like, I'm a good person. Like, I didn't think that was fair. But
I swear, I did the same thing. So, because I grew up in a predominantly religious, Christian, what is it, Protestant? Yeah, I think Protestant was the section of Christianity that my family adhered to. And what I told myself, because the church and the elders were all giving these really negative messages that being gay is a sin, like Fawn said, and that you're gonna go to hell and something wrong with you and all these things. And I had to ask myself, like you said, I'm young. This is like a part of who I am. This is something that makes me happy. And I had to ask myself, like, God made me this way. Everything that I do, I was also taught in that same religion that everything is predestined. Like, where you're going to go, the things that you're going to go through is all God's plan. So if I'm gay, then that's God's plan. So how can I be in trouble for being who God made me to be? Like, it didn't make sense to me. And, I had to tell myself that this is who I am and God loves me. And like you said, everything about me is positive, and I care about people, and I'm kind, and I try my best to do the right thing. And if this one thing is going to send me to hell, that doesn't really make sense, and it doesn't line up with the other messages that the church and other people were sending out. So I had to figure out what made sense to me, and that helped me to be okay with it from the aspect of religion as well.
And I think it's like, you know, for me, it's like I kept trying to, hide those aspects or those, pieces of me by, getting involved in like sports because, my family, they are a big sports family and we had like, I was in soccer, we played, volleyball, we played football and, you know, and so there was five, my aunt and uncle raised five boys and we had a sister. So, I felt like I had to be more like them or get more, into those things. Eventually I fell in love with, sports. But it's like I felt like I had to, hide those things and it will kill me up inside because like my family, not necessarily they weren't pushing it on me because they knew they will ask me like, hey, like if this is not what you want to do, you don't have to do these things. We love you regardless. But I felt like, no, I want to be part of the family. I want to be part of, those things. I think it was like my own, guilt. But again, it was a mixture of a lot of things that made me kind of hide it inside.
So,
So
what happened when because you were away from your family when you really started dating guys and really coming into who you are as far as your sexuality. So what happened when you finally did talk to your parents or they finally found out? Was it like through social media? Did they see you with your boyfriend or like how did it happen?
So yeah, it was through social media. I actually called my sister first because I saw something that somebody posted and I got really aggravated by it. And I was like, you know what, like I'm not gonna, keep hiding in the closet because you feel some type of way or, I want to make it known. And, either you fuck with me or you don't after this. So I made it, I talked to my sister. My sister was like, well, I already knew and I love you regardless. You already know that. And, you got me if you need to talk. So I that kind of motivated me. But I was still pissed off by, the comment that this person was making. So I went ahead and I posted it. That I was gay, this long. I was in a relationship with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought, yeah. Okay.
So, I was really happy at the time with our relationship. So that's when I was like, my sister was like, I see you happy, happier than you ever been. And, so I did make a comment and I made a long post and it went really big. Like all my family members, I was like, I was trying to speak more on my family member, even though they always pretty much accepted me for who I am. But it was like an inside thing. But I let them know it's like either you fuck with me after this or you don't. But this is who I am, and you're either gonna accept it or you don't have to accept it. But I'm letting you know this is who I am. So my family was like, I love you, I care about you, you always got me, I'm so excited. And someone was like, oh, I already knew. So, but yeah, that was, pretty much my come out story. And this is where I am now.
That's dope. Yes, family, if you're watching and you are maybe curious as to someone that you know and love, maybe, addicted. I was about to say addicted to the same sex. I'm addicted to him. That's why. So if someone you know and love is, attracted to someone of the same sex or, some other identity things going on, definitely be supportive to them. Like that makes all the difference in the world. It makes it so much easier. Unfortunately, a lot of people are committing suicide and just a lot of horrible things happening because people are afraid to be who they are and be themselves, and they're afraid of the consequences that come along with it. So, as a family member or support to someone, that goes a long way and it can really make a huge difference. So, yeah, definitely be supportive.
And I mean, even if I think it's really important to also speak on the fact of like, the youngins. Like if you see them, doing certain behavior, and you may not all agree with it. And I'm not saying that you have to, accept that, what it is. Sometimes kids are too young. So if you see them, running around in your high heels and stuff like that. I hear a lot like, oh, that's gay, or you're gay. Stop naming it. Like, I would say if you don't agree with it, be like, hey, don't do that, or sometimes they're making jokes, about those things. It's not that they're gonna be grow up to be gay or this or that. So,
and if they are, that's okay. But yeah, like, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying.
But yeah, I just have to really throw that out there. And again, speaking of from earlier, just because someone, a man, or is more feminine, that doesn't mean that they're going to be gay again. It could mean that some people are raised by their mother. So if there's no father around, or vice versa. If there's no father around or mother around, they might pick up what they're seeing or doing.
Yeah, it's learned behavior. And children, especially at a really young age, like you're talking about, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-year-olds, like at that time, a lot of children don't even have the concept of sexuality, of being gay, of being a lesbian, or any of those things. So when you're saying those things to that child, like you're instilling those ideas in their mind. Not to say that that's going to make them gay or bisexual or anything else, but we can say things that can be really harmful to children. They can be really young and not even understand what sexuality is, but know that my mom or my father doesn't like something about me. There's something wrong with me. And then at that such a young age, when they should just be experiencing life and joy and love, right, they're trying to figure out what it is that's wrong with them. And like that's no way to feel, especially as a young child. And some of the things that you were saying, like as far as me and being young, like my mother was a super prankster and always wanted to have fun and laugh and joke and do all these things. And she had this game called Make Me Laugh. And I look back on it now and I'm freaking pissed. But, she used to, her boyfriend would be over my younger sibling's father, and, she would dress me up as a girl and stuff her bra, put it on me and stuff it with socks and put me in high heels and all this stuff. And we would play this game called Make Me Laugh, where, we had to challenge to make the other person laugh. So I'm out dressed like a whole woman at 7 years old doing Shanae impressions and stuff because I think it's a game. Make me laugh. Like, it was cool. It is what it is. I don't have no hard feelings about it. I can look back on it and laugh now. But, some of those things, like when I grew up and I expressed who I was as an individual, a lot of people said, like, we knew you was gay since you was 4 or 5 years old. Like, you always wanted to play Barbie. You always wanted to be the mother. You always, I knew how to double dutch. I knew how to do hair. Like, all the things that are primarily something that females would do, I was interested in it and knew how to do it. And, whether or not those experiences had any effect on my sexuality, I don't know. I can't say for sure. But, I also know there are a lot of children who I know personally who have the same kind of likes and things that I did, and they grew up and they are heterosexual. And, so it's kind of hard to say.
There are males who are, married to a whole wife and have kids and, in their relationship, and, they're hairdressers, they're doing hair and, makeup
and drag queens.
Right. So
drag shows and things like that. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes, like completely heterosexual. They just enjoy being dressed as a woman and entertaining people, or maybe they just enjoy entertaining people, and doing drag is one way that they found an outlet to do that. You can't always judge a book by its cover, but what I think is most important and what I want to get through in this video is to those of you who may be out there who are feeling afraid and lonely and possibly ashamed and embarrassed because of your sexuality and afraid to be who you are. Like, just know that it gets greater later. And, it was really helpful for me. I hope it will be just as helpful to somebody out there to know that, like, the people who love you, they're going to love you regardless. Those that mind don't matter. Those that matter don't mind. And, there's a lot of safe spaces and places for you to speak about the things that are going on. Like, don't hold that stuff in. Right. Don't, devalue yourself or feel like there's something wrong with you. You're made absolutely perfect. You're made exactly who you are supposed to be. And, let the world change their views. Don't try and change you,
Right.
because you're amazing just the way you are.
You have a purpose, so we love you. You know, we care, you know, about you guys deeply. You know, we were there at the time, so
yeah. Absolutely. So I hope y'all enjoyed this story time, this mukbang. I know I enjoyed sharing that piece of myself with y'all and talking about things that I haven't really shared publicly with a lot of people, and some people even close to me, you know, haven't even heard those things. So I appreciate y'all creating this space for us to share our stories, and I hope that in the long run, you know, someone is able to find some strength in something that we said. And yeah, we love y'all. Until next time.